Hey everyone, and welcome to the final Siege and Sandfox stream for this year. As always, I am Chris Wilson, and I'm joined by someone who has just finished their soup. Aidan, how's the soup?
Pretty good. I mean, just
Pretty
finished isn't entirely accurate.
I know, whoops.
There's still soup, Chris, but
There's always soup.
So I guess that's fine.
Okay, as fascinating as the soup is, let me just hop over here. We got some kind of video game. So just a little bit of background here. So we didn't do one last week for reasons, I forget why. But anyway, the important thing is now this is actually a package build, so we're out of editor.
Real, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was. Yes. Turns out it's still there in London. Anyway, so this is a package build now. So we're out of editor. This is hopefully literally what is going to ship to the thing that Ollie is doing tomorrow, our user research playtest session.
Already got some very pleasing visuals on there, Chris, for people who play platform games with their keyboard. Because
yes, that was
because the 30 years of input development mean nothing to them.
Everyone likes A's.
Oh, but you've started using a pad and it's picked it up. Well, that's snazzy though. Does it go back?
Nice.
Oh, and it's back again. Oh,
Let's go back. Are you watching the stream again? Rather than watching.
Yeah. Good call. Good call.
It's all right. Just noticed there. Okay, so yeah, we did mention these before, but it's worth mentioning again because they're nice. How does that one come back? No, it doesn't. Whap whap. One of our good contractors, Joe Wintergreen, has implemented something so that it will. These prompts are doing quite a lot of things dynamically now, including noticing if you're using keyboard or pad. Other things are supported. As you can see, obviously there are some bugs, but we're only, we're testing the controlled environment, so there will only be a pad. So we're not worried about that. We just wanted to get it in because it's obviously a feature we're going to actually need. So I've been sort of only going in and out. How's the occlusion stuff going? I might just turn this audio down just slightly.
We're nearly there, I believe. If I sound slightly soupy, well, obviously why.
Actually, it's fine. I want to leave
We're
it.
nearly there. I think things are going on in the branch. I saw a bit of back and forth in terms of check-ins between Keith and Ben, but it's not quite 100% yet. And I'm not sure whether you have whatever the latest is. And you don't actually. No, you absolutely don't in this build because this is a few days ago.
Yeah, I figured I'd just show this because this is, what we're probably going to send. It's better than last time I saw it, but yeah, it's not.
It still freaks out once you get past here in the places where it really freaked out before.
Right.
But yeah, I haven't caught up with exactly what the sketch with it is recently. But it's been about a week of just getting some of the data right, I think.
Right.
It has some issues related to geometry. Here I am, just reading hot check-ins, Chris. But yeah, I'd have to speak to Ben, find out more.
No, that's fine. So yeah, I think the last thing I did was actually just go through and smooth out a lot of the point of interest stuff. It's still not perfect, but it's more consistent at least. And I think I will see if I know made some changes around the switch area, but let's see if they survived. Find out. I hope we can get. Well, I know we can, but be nice to get the thing back. It used to move the particles around, didn't it, when you ran through them?
Through what?
It was through some particles. It's like the light sources and some other things. It would
perturb them.
Yes.
A lot of particle work's dropped off. And a lot of the physicalization, like grounding the character in the world, like the dust puffs on the feet and that kind of stuff. But yes, there were some that carried with you. I'm just not sure whether it was around here. We did try that, but I think they were different from. I think they were different from the motes there. I think there were some specific ones that would get caught up, but I can't remember. It's a while ago now. Good spot on that because I didn't notice that those had dropped off. But I guess
I was enjoying that, that point of interest thing works. It still needs a little bit of tuning, but the general idea is there. So between the temporary wooden platform, just so it frames it like that, and when you press the switch, it turns one on and one off, so it just kind of pulls it down a bit. Again, it's not perfect, but it's a good good proof of concept. And crucially, whereas before it was like trying to push away, like I'm doing this manually now, it was trying to push you away from it. Now at least, you know, it comes down a bit and then it looks towards it, which is cool.
Still felt a bit lumpy in terms of timing for me, in that I'd rather it pulled towards that before you pulled the switch. It seems to be afterwards, and that's too late for me. It's like, oh, look what you did. It's like, okay. Well, I kind of know that's what I did, so that's okay for me. But someone who's fresh to that, it probably needs to frame that a little bit better and then pull towards it more aggressively when you have pulled the switch. I think
it does, but it can't. Yeah.
Oh, okay, fine.
So, because at the moment there's only certain events that are available, and one of them is like obviously you have pulled the switch. So there's some other stuff I need to do with that, and we can go into it another time. But yeah, I think I need to have a think about another sort of layer of control that's needed for that sort of thing. But it's nice to know that that kind of classic setup works in the sense that I can create it. Like, I know what you mean. It is lumpy, definitely, but like the bits are there. You know, I can hook into the right kind of events, and it does handle it.
It sounds as well like the sort of features that we're going to need for SoundFox. And POIs are quite similar in terms of prioritization and sequencing and the ability to fire them off stuff. So maybe those will feed into each other.
How is this grate still here?
I don't know. It's fine. It's functional.
Yeah, it's fine.
We need a broken variant, and then everything's fine.
But anyway, all the prompts are working so far.
I think that's a flat refusal to move it. Is why that grate is still there. It makes no sense, Chris. It makes no sense.
It doesn't.
No.
Oh. So is it the occlusion thing as well? That's where you've got this weird little line across the bottom, like a couple of pixels of.
I don't think I'm getting good enough resolution.
No, you mentioned it though.
It's been the whole battle with this has been because you remember it looked fine, and then we needed to cull it, and that's how this all began.
I see.
So yeah, that's just the culling being nearly right, I would imagine.
Let's see what this is like. Boop.
Oh, and you can see through the ground a little bit.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Same thing, I think.
I think we need to extrude out the occlusion. We either need to extrude out the occlusion kind of volumes, because I don't know whether they are volumes. I have to ask Ben whether this is possible. But because we keep moving the depth of the player character on crates, on hide spots, on ladders, on that kind of stuff. Really, I just like every instance where we move the depth of the character to die and
why I've never had a good answer for why we actually do that.
No, well, I don't know either. I just know Rex doesn't want to unpick that. But maybe now with ZD'd, it's not quite so dangerous. I don't know, but at some point in the future, Chris, it's going to have to be justified so that we at least all understand why it's there and why we have to work around it. But I mean, it was it 4.16? Like, there was a whole kerfuffle over 4.16 and features coming into 4.16 that were going to change the way we were doing non-solids and ladders and that kind of stuff. And we never, I don't think we ever got around to leaning on any of that because it was, orthographic was broken. Let's fix the camera. Let's get into forward render. Let's get into Paper ZD.
Yeah, we've certainly been chasing the tails a bit.
The last 6 months of just getting everything out of prototype and into something that's actually production.
So this finally works again. It's like the most minor thing of all time, but it's just funny how it ended up being such a problem to get that to reliably display.
Many check-ins and builds were made.
It is one of these. Yeah, it's a good example for me of like it always ends up being UI stuff where people are like, "How hard can it be to make a game?" And you're like, "Well, let me tell you how long it took to get that to appear. Quite some time." So we'll just follow the critical path a little bit longer. And we'll
coder and producer from about, I don't know, 4-5 p.m. until maybe 10:30. Build after build after build of nope, padlock's still not there.
I did, yeah. I caught up on some of that. I enjoyed the one where he goes, "This one works," and you're like, "That's somewhere completely different."
Yeah, that's the wrong door. Damn. So close. I'll just copy that door. I'll just move that door. Doesn't work.
I remember that. While we're just talking about other things, something that's, don't need to fix now, but it's been on my list for a while, is, God, it sucks the way that, when you jump and land, like, you slow down then speed up. It's so upsetting.
I don't know what we're going to do about conservation of momentum, really.
No, I don't know. Again, it's one of... I hate to do it, but sometimes it just happens where, like, I don't have an answer for that. I just have a problem. I'm like, it's so annoying.
Yeah, there are a variety of things surrounding running and jumping that need to be ironed out. One of the things is that it feels latent or unreliable, which is awful, because the jump is generally quite good, but when you're about to press that button and you're going, oh, maybe I should press it a little bit early.
Yeah.
Because it does that thing, still, where it goes.
Yeah. I mean, so my thinking is, like, if we take this out and hopefully it does what it's meant to do and people, it fixes the issues we had before, because people mostly understood what was going on. I think we've refined that over time. And if this moves out the other things, then, we have to absolutely nail those things next, because they're infuriating.
Yeah, I think another one of the problems is you just run and jump for me. Oh no, you triggered the fat man.
He's fine. Oh no.
Oh.
Let's see what happens, because I haven't seen this for a while.
Hello. You're in a box and I don't know what to do.
He used to know what to do, but he doesn't anymore.
Oh, poor guy.
Oh no, if I teleport, it's probably... Let's see what happens, because I'm going to get stuck in one way or another, so let's have some fun.
Well, you could teleport him.
Oh yeah, I could have done, but why not teleport me and see what happens? I knew that would happen, but it's fun. I don't think I can get back in either. In fact, it might just be a volume. Let's try it. Let's have some fun. So, why can I not move you? Oh, well, at least he's lost interest. Haha! It is like a trigger volume, I think. It's like a collision volume for that. So it wouldn't let me out. Okay, sorry, you were saying?
Run and jump. That's not actually as bad as it used to be. So one of the problems with the jump is you're running and you're maintaining a constant velocity, and then you jump and you have a burst of speed, and then you have a burst of slowness when you hit the ground.
Yes,
and then you get back up to speed, and then you jump again. So you're oscillating between these three different speeds when really it should only ever be one. On that axis, on that forward axis, it should be when you're jumping, you're pretty much going the same speed as when you're running, and when you hit the ground, you're going the same speed again until the player elects to stop moving. It's just this pulsy nature of the player character. Even though currently running jumps can be a bit flaky when you're close to an edge, the worst time for them to be flaky.
Yeah. All right, I'm doing something live. Keep talking.
Fine. These speeds that's it. This pulsy speed of the player movement. It catches you off guard a little bit. I think we need to look at that and try and get that constant.
I play it all the time, and sometimes when I've just done that landing and I'm trying to jump again, it catches me out a lot. Okay, that's just...
I don't know whether again, old questions about whether we have a landing after a running jump that demands a tile's worth of travel with a specific animation before you can jump again. But, locking jump out is hard to get away with for more than just frames. But
doing it live. Okay, I did this because I meant to and I forgot. I wanted to point something out, so hopefully you can see I got the pad thing up there now. Another thing that is infuriating is when it's doing that, like when you land, but it's still doing sort of the compression or landing. If you press jump again, nothing happens. Like, you see even there when I press it? And, it's so annoying. And actually, I looked in a bunch of other games. And admittedly...
Here's the thing. We stopped that on purpose a long time ago.
I know. But it's so annoying now.
I agree. Yeah.
And actually, I realize this is a completely different game, but it's still, the whole point is it's more like how you expect this to work and how it actually works. I was playing Destiny and doing exactly the same thing in like the safe areas from third person, and they actually have a massive window. Like, you can press jump when you're still falling, and you'll still jump again afterwards. And I never noticed for like 20 or 30 hours. But I do notice this because it's just, it's so annoying. And again, like, it's fine because you're right. We took it out before because no doubt there are other issues, but obviously lots of things are unstable. And I feel like it's, the controller is mostly quite stable now, so that's something definitely to look at because I think that catches a lot of people out. I mean, it still sometimes catches me out, and it's our game.
It's stoppy starty, and that's not great. I mean, in the past I've thought about maybe advocating like a little forward roll after a running jump like that, so there's no expectation of being able to jump again.
I mean, the thing is, one part of it definitely is if I'm on the flat like this, like completely flat, and I just jump and do that, I should just be able to just keep doing it. You know what I mean?
Bouncing's what Tiggers do best, huh?
Well, yes.
I don't know, because we did. That's why we turned it off. That's exactly because we were doing that, and it just looked daft, And people...
but you can still have right. I guess the thing is there can still be the delay before I can jump again. I agree. Like you don't want to be Tigger or like flipping Quake Free bouncing on the floor, but it's the fact that I have to press it again. Like I still don't mind that it delays as it compresses, but it should just jump again by itself.
Yeah, so we're back to jump queuing, which is generally been the answer because we know there are other parts of the game that suffer from the same quandary of what do we do about allowing the player to jump in this circumstance, because we have to, the animations have to look good, and if we can serve both masters of it not feeling lumpy and the animations looking good, then we should do that. And actually, the animations go a long way to it not feeling lumpy. So I think maybe we just need something that's more, a more dedicated blend out of running jump back into run cycle, where the same kind of jump queuing that we're using in Wall Run and other places.
I guess the thing is, right, to me, is that when you're on the flat, this feels weird. But you're right. Like I know this is too high, but just pretend it's the right height. Like if I run and jump off this, like stop grabbing things. But if I run and jump down like here or something, then a sort of delay and a roll or some interruption, I expect that. But if it's flat or near flat, it just feels strange. Like doesn't feel right because it feels like I don't know. But it's very stop-starty, as you say. I think it needs to just glide a bit more.
I think it needs a tile's worth of travel and an animation to blend out, and that's not going to be a huge. I mean, that's not going to be a huge amount of time to lock jump out. And if we jump queue in that and it feels bad, then we'll just have to try something else. But I suppose the ultimate fallback for this is just bouncing is what Tiggers do best. Just allow. That's the right side to be on, anyway, is the most functional side. And we're on the wrong side right now, which is the least functional side.
Yeah, it's something that's been brewing, so I think it's worth discussing. But obviously the important thing is at the moment is that I think a lot of the really weird stuff has gone away with the controller. So now it's kind of the stuff that we don't like, but it's stuff that, is quite clear. You can highlight it. Whereas we've had stuff in the past where you look at it, and you're just like, this could be about 10 different components of the player. Whereas now, I can look at that at least and be like, right, I know exactly what I don't like about this and what I would like to try. Okay, so I haven't been in the old editor for a little while. Let's see what we got. Because, I mean, in a good way, right? I just played through that, and in terms of our criteria for this playtest that's tomorrow, I got nothing. It does
it just worked.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything pretty much just worked.
The main thing was the prompts. They're all there. They all display when you can do them, not display when you can't do them. And also, between myself and Keith, we couldn't help ourselves. We sort of redid them so that they... I can't think of the succinct way of saying this, but it's like they don't just show you the button, but they also show you it relative to the others. Because I actually I read that in a book, but also it's just neat. Because then you don't.
Speaking of neat, I'm going to celebrate with some slow gin just to try and stop me. That's how Christmassy it is up in here.
That's nice. I was considering alcohol, but I forgot. But good, enjoy it.
Well, I'll make it a double, Chris.
Yes, that's how it works.
Apparently,
it's fine. Okay.
Got to do something during these Titanic loads.
I know. I mean, why is this game so big? We just don't know. Oh wait, no, we know exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, it's nearly done. Nearly done. But yeah, so that all works. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I mean, it's just so funny when you say it out loud. It sounds like such a simple problem. It's like, oh well, these things should just appear when you can do the thing and not appear when you can't. And yeah, that's actually really hard. Come on, it's doing that thing where it's like I'm done, but also I'm not.
So I mean, the demo's been in good shape for a while, anyway.
Yes.
Because the last week, other than waiving what I wanted to do, which was tear out the main menu and the intro and all the stuff that's not really necessary for a focus test build.
Yes,
but
actually,
wasn't necessary to rock the boat that much. I mean, it's mostly that we didn't have easy access to Joe this week, and it's his thing, and I didn't want anyone else getting in there and causing trouble this late in the day. We had 2 bugs, you know. We had the aforementioned UI elements not appearing, a padlock not appearing, and a UI element that was persistently appearing when it shouldn't be. Both gone, but that was it. You know, it's pretty stable. But now we can wall run again, so let's talk about that.
Yeah, we can. Before, I just want to say one thing because you reminded me of it. Something I watched in, I'll have to think who it was, some GDC video. They went for a bunch of stuff they had, and they actually just had discrete modes for when they were, running at a convention and when they were doing user testing. And I realized, yeah, we should do that.
That's what we should do.
Yeah. So then, we have our convention mode that does things like idle timeout, finishing the level timeout, going to a cell screen, rebooting the game. Actually, this is one I liked that, again, is obvious, but I hadn't thought about for a while. They had another program just checking the process was active and responsive, and if it wasn't, it just killed it and restarted it. So even if the game just exploded when they weren't there, it just came back. And I was like, huh. Yeah, that's a good idea. But yeah, I agree. Like some CVARs for stuff like convention mode and user research mode and stuff, so we don't have to faff around turning on and off all these menu options. But hey, one thing.
I'm sure we can get a switch for the XE or something in the console, whatever's most appropriate.
Exactly. It's definitely a Ben thing. I'm like, here's what I want to do. What's the sensible way of doing it? How do adults do this?
Probably XE switches, and then we just run whatever builds we want off a batch file. I would think. Yeah.
So I actually didn't get the time to test my local version of this works. I don't see why it wouldn't, but famous last words. There we go, it's fine. Okay, let's see if this works though. How do I use them? Can I use them, or do I just have to turn it off? Turn it on rather in the
I think you might. They used to work, but
yeah, that's fine.
Character.
Do you remember where it lives? There's a lot of things in there now.
If it's even called the same thing. So if you go for wall run.
Okay. Oh wait, no. Yes, no. It's going to be in one of these components now. Doing it live because it's not in.
Oh yeah, of course, it's not in the monolith anymore, is it?
Oh, we can take a guess. This is fun. What's wall? There we go. It's just called wall. I like it. Let's try that to start with. Yeah,
can wall.
Yes. Are you a wall? Good.
Yes.
It's been a while actually since I've played with wall run on. I mean, deliberately, obviously. So let's just see if this works. It does. Sort of.
Oh, that's a wall run. Well, that's obviously that shouldn't be. Should it? Wait a minute. How many is that? No, that's 4. Because that's the. Can you make that? Can you jump and see if you can make that height with a regular jump? Because you can, yeah. So wall run's misconfigured right now. It needs to be 5 tiles and not 4.
Whap whap.
Whap whap. Yeah.
I wonder if I can just do that. I probably can't, but let's just look. Seeing as I'm here. What else we got in here?
It's some kind of strength. Come on. Give me strength.
Well, there's a speed. It's not the speed. Nope.
There's a curve.
Yeah.
If only we knew how these worked.
Yeah, I don't really know how curves work anymore. Let's have a look. Well, I know how they work, but I don't know what these axes actually really represent. So
I think I think that's before it gets to any kind of number that would modify it. Anyway,
Mm.
maybe check if that's completable just by jumping across. It shouldn't be.
I hope it's not.
Well, that's a shame because all of this wall run stuff would work if wall run was configured correctly, but it's not.
Hey, there you go. That's fine.
But wall run does work. I mean, I
Yeah.
suppose that's the more encouraging part of it is that we've got our wall run back, which means we can actually start testing all of this stuff that's been in whitebox for ages.
Gone a bit funny, or my memory of it has, because that start is like super slow.
But does it? Oh, yeah, that is. It stops a bit there, doesn't it? Before, maybe try it without a slope. Find somewhere where there's no slope and see if it's the slope that's doing that.
That slope.
This is.
Oh no, too thin. Too thin.
That's slope free. It's fine. You can.
Nope, it's the same.
It's still lumpy there, huh?
Aha.
Oh no!
That doesn't work. Come on. Well, maybe that's not on the right layer, is it?
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's on
edge.
exclamation foreground, so that's
of course
never going to work.
What the? Oh wow. Well, that's probably just because there's a bunch of layers on top of each other. It's going a bit crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can still talk about it a little bit. So just trying to remember how this has been, because actually this is different to when it was last discussed on here. And I can't remember.
Still ain't right, is it?
No.
So what you wanted, and you were right to do it, Chris, is this little dip that's in here doesn't really
I guess the point,
the thing that we need it to, because the reveal of the switch is pretty cool.
Yeah, so I guess that's the way to start, right? Is that so the desired, like the outcome, this is delicious. I mean, I'm not sure it should be a switch, as we said, but the view that is giving of a thing that looks really interesting that you can't reach, delicious,
you want
chef
it.
Kiss.
Yeah.
However, the current, convoluted way in which we can make this happen and ensure
don't like
that
my camel humps.
Well, no, like I get it. It's like you look at it and you go, I see where this exists. It's like a convoluted setup to prevent these being abused. You can't use it to climb up too high and you can't get over it, but you can look through a gap that you can't you still can get stuck in it. Oh, it's fine. But so that doesn't work. And we started discussing ways we can basically replicate this end result without having to make this. So we kind of need some kind of something that you can see through, but you can also wall run up, which we don't have at the moment.
Yeah.
But this is good. I mean, this is, more my territory in the sense that I can deliver to Art and say, here's what I need to be able to do. Here's what it looks like. But what is it? I don't know. Like, it's better, it's better to have a use case to be like, here's why we need it. Here's what it does for us, rather than just like, I think this would be cool. So,
well, over the various reviews between you and me and Art, as this has been bounced back, this tower's been shoved around and it's been made fatter. Yeah, there we go. It's been made pretty fat. I mean, if you were to zoom out and compare it to the other tower that's on the left, I mean, you can see what its backdrop used to be as well there. Just where with the mausoleum background stuff that's got its collision turned off behind it. You can see how thick that tower used to be. And now the distance of those two walls, I mean, it's 3 times the volume on the inside, and that to me is crackers. It doesn't need to be that. So I think I'm just going to move it back where I had it.
I mean, this
pretty
is
much
the other thing
in the beginning, closer to there, so that we don't need that second hump.
I mean, yes, this is the thing as well. Just to clarify as well, that at the moment, the idea is that we still, the only route the player can take is this one off to the right the first time they encounter it. But we still want them to have that moment where they pause and go, this looks kind of interesting. And at the moment, it's still just a bit too far away. Like, obviously it's there, but I think it's just slightly too far away. And also, that isn't what's interesting. It's like we're expecting people to just go, that looks like a thing. I'm interested in that. And, oh, now this is really interesting. Whereas, really, it needs to be closer.
Yeah, so I want to move that wall to where that hump is, which is pretty much where I had it in the first place. And trim the tower back down so it's skinny tower again. because we're not really. When you look at that tower, what am I even doing with those ledges? I'm just filling space with them. When this is this is all progress left. You can use the wall run. You're coming up and over. You maybe pull that switch or whatever it is to open the door, or whatever Scooby snack it is that's in there that makes you want to get in there. And then you're heading left, and you've got purpose to go left because there's game progress in that direction, which is the whole problem with where we've had this challenge in the past. I mean, this challenge has been in many places, and all of them wrong until now. But the challenge with putting this where it is that we have to have this right to left flow that pushes you towards the Bridge of Knives and underneath it back towards Tutorial Town. So you can go to those little nooks and crannies in the tutorial section that are actually wall runs that hopefully some players will have been paying attention and will have noticed that they can probably do those now.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of coming together. We'll simplify this, and the other bit, just to point out, because obviously this visually looks the same, but we discussed it, is that we have this case where it's always good to try, and I think we'll come back to doing it. But if we just put the player up here, this is one of those situations where this already existed and this bottom bit already existed, and we're trying to add this. The critical path is down here to sort of get you to flow back towards this once you have the unlock. And we're like, okay, well, also, we can link this together and we can gate that off. But I think it was just making life harder than it needed to be. And you can see, again, this is a case where, like, it's technically achieving all of these things at once, but it makes these sort of thin, narrow passageways. So we said, you know what? We'll say to Art, just, these can be separate. This can be closed off. And I'm sure we'll revisit it. My example for these is that a lot of these little wall runs and situations like that, perhaps not this one exactly, but ones like this, just appeared naturally over time. We didn't create them when we first made the game, but they just sort of begin to fit. Whereas this one at the moment is more of a, I can do this, so I will. And we'll make it work, though.
We were very gun-shy of those kind of changes early on. And what we've learned is that was stupid. Because it's actually really easy to pull these sort of things about. And whenever we come back to an old area like this and try and update it for what the current flow around the world is, our first instinct is to try and preserve everything that we've got, keep it hyper connected and preserve everything. But in this instance, we can just block it up. I mean, that's not to say we can't get it back later.
Yep.
But I mean, to be honest, that airlock that I built there doesn't even work properly. Because if you were, well, I mean, it doesn't matter that it doesn't work. Maybe it does. No, it totally does. Yeah, it doesn't work because you could guide and jump it.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
I mean, you would just shave those bits off so you can't anymore. Those, like, there's a 4 block there that you would shave off and it would still work. But yeah, you can guide and jump that. But I just didn't bother fixing it because it was so weak.
Yeah, it's fine, but I get it.
And you wanted rid of it, so it's getting bricked up, Chris.
And
then the thing just becomes a massive hole, which is much more convincing for getting into that room and much more inviting as well. Because, like you say, there's these little squirrely, warrensy, single tile holes that nobody wants in their life. So get rid of them.
No. What is this doing here? What are you doing here? Interesting. Anyway, yeah, so I think the rest of it isn't going to change too much. I'm trying to remember what I said for the benefit of everyone else. I think from memory, the general gist was like going through all this. It's like this all works, but it's like we can give everything a little bit more space to breathe, and we don't need to. There's areas where we don't need to make our lives harder than it needs to be. This was a good example. It's like, okay, I see exactly why all of this exists, but you know what? We can simplify this and get the same thing. Likewise with this. And here, there was a little bit of that. I think from memory, it was just like, yes, okay, I remember. I think we just wanted to get this to be a bit smoother because I think you have this thing where you're kind of led down here and these gaps are of a certain size. And then it's a bit bigger. And then it's kind of like, oh, there's a chest at the bottom, I guess.
Sure. Well, this is why I want that tower to come back down to the original thickness that it was and move over to the right. Because if it does that, you don't have that lumpy descent on the right-hand side.
Yes.
And I don't need to actually putting platforms in maybe to support the chest.
Yes.
Support the chest. Might become possible again, but don't bank on it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing as well. So the other thing I remember discussing, it's all coming back now, is that so at the moment we have this deal where it's like there's two things here. It's like we're going to have this door, and it's going to be a locked door with the implication that you'll be able to unlock it later, obviously. And obviously, it's your first chest that you can unlock and get an item out of. And at the moment, they're kind of both just shoved down here, which makes sense, and they're definitely closer to where they should be. But it's like, it just kind of steals a bit of the thunder of one or the other. When you tend to have these first reveals, there's just literally nothing else there, and that's really powerful. So you just gotta, just figure out a way to do that. From memory, I think the suggestions were, well, you know what? You don't necessarily need. What did we say? There's a few ways around it anyway, but certainly I think that was the thing that. Then they're just kind of a bit too close together, but we'll figure that out.
I think portcullis door was the answer there.
Yeah.
Portcullis doors aren't exciting anymore by the time you get here.
You're like, another one of those.
Locked icon that works, presumably.
Yeah. Another thing, actually, I must just mention with the locked icon, I remember seeing it and being like, well, that's not going to take long. So you know what I'll ask for next? I'll ask that when you try and use the door, the little padlock shakes, and then 5 weeks later, I'm like, I'm probably just going to keep that one to myself.
Let's not involve sine waves in this mess, Chris. steady on. Having trouble getting the thing to appear.
Yes. Yeah, no, and I get it, but it's just like in the back of my head, I was like, in a couple of weeks' time, I'll ask about that, and then I'm like, no, it's fine. That's a good point. Making that portcullis or something.
Because we do need it to be a door, I think. Bricking it up is a little bit too brutal. But hey, that's fine. I think a portcullis, and then really it gives that switch something a bit more substantial to do underneath, depending on how happy you are with the idea of not being able to see that portcullis so easily. Or maybe we'll have to put some non-solids in that room. We can't put non-solids in that room, can we? Because that breaks the whole loop around the other way.
Yeah, I said I'm still thinking about the switch. I think if that's
we could put goo in there.
Well, yeah, but I said that before, and you didn't want to do that.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Well, I was just plain wrong, Chris. Don't listen to me. Just
I
put
said
goo in
move
there.
him from here to there, because then this room can be a different shape. Because you don't have to preserve that space for him. But anyway, I'll just put this back because I can talk about it this way. I suggested that it's him there or someone there, or. Again, Cameron to be configured. I honestly think if that was just an open door and some, perhaps a little bit stronger than normal particles or whatever, just something a little special about it.
Just sink him in the ground a little bit, just as you can see his comb over lightly being blown in the breeze.
I mean, that's, I forget that I'm literally in the editor. Why don't I just
put him there?
Hang on, let's do the thing that you're not supposed to do. Ha ha ha! Unlock all.
Whoops.
Oops, no one saw. Okay, this is obviously not being saved, so...
Just the narrative layer, though, if you just want to... There he is.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I've got so used to just some stuff I wanted, just really struggling to find it, that I'm like, oh, okay.
Get out of the way, naughty Switch. You're not interesting enough.
So this isn't quite right either, but, I mean, I'm pretty interested.
Who wouldn't be interested in that?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, that is such the.
You hear a scratching noise inside the walls. Goody indeed.
But, I mean, yeah, it's still. Maybe he can be whistling, so you can hear him and not see him when it's an open door. Because the only thing is that would be slightly weird if you could see him is that obviously he could see you, and then what would he do? Just be like, "Hello." It would just be a bit strange. You know what I mean? Anyway, to be discussed, but I certainly feel like that feels like a more natural payoff than a switch.
That kind of distance with his back to you, we've got the sound rings to kind of indicate the amount of noise. I suppose it's just the player asking themselves, why don't I shout and say, hey, come over here so we can shake hands through this hole in the wall or something else.
I mean...
Still go there, Chris.
I'm thinking about. I think it were. Yeah. Admittedly, this is more of an art prototype thing. I can see a cool situation where he is just too far away to see. It's an open door and you can't see him, and he's whistling or something. So you're like, "What is that? I want to know what that is." Which I just realised.
If we had floaty musical particle notes and you could see those, but not the man,
that'd be delicious. I mean, I've just realised actually this is totally what Hollow Knight does a lot. Actually, as people making interesting noises just off screen. Sometimes to its detriment. Some of them are really annoying.
That map guy is great though.
Yes,
I really,
yeah.
I really dug
he's
that
good.
as a mechanic.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, we can discuss it, but I think because I said it just I don't. Yeah, the Switch just doesn't quite work because the thing is, I just think you want to go, more stuff over here, and the Switch has always been like, well, it opens this thing up here, and you're like, oh, I don't. Okay.
Doesn't do anything interesting.
Yeah, it
Psych!
doesn't. Yeah, it's not interesting enough.
Well, it's just not interesting at all because you've been there, you know, and all that's doing is opening up something that allows you to drop down into here where you have also been. So, I mean, it's a shortcut, I guess, but it's not a very good one. It's not an interesting or exciting one. So yeah, we do need some other form of Scooby Snack to go in there. But at least what we do know is how we're tickling people on the way in.
Yes.
Is it's the right kind of tickle. We're just maybe not tickling them in the right place. This is an analogy going into weird places, Chris. I think we're
bad places.
Gonna stop.
I mean, yeah, but this could work. Said if he's there, or I said potentially, you know, he's just out of sight here, and whatever, something along those lines. And then you've got a bit more space to play with here, as in making this. You know what I mean? I don't know. You can experiment what to do, but you've just got the space to make this a more nice gradual. You know, because you don't have to maintain the height here if you don't need to.
I mean, we could put him on a slope so that he's just visible. You know, peeking over the slope, back of the head.
This is a thing, of course, that raises a thing that we sidestepped for the time being because, hey, you know, we had to get the occlusion system working, is how visible are people in that situation? You know what I mean? Like, if they're quite far away at the moment, we just, it just kind of cuts them out, doesn't it? As in, like, you see whatever you can see.
Yeah,
you never get them in silhouette.
Let's move over to Hester, because Hester could do with being this cool, really, couldn't she?
Yeah. Oh no, I lost the player character. There we go. Yes.
So Hester really is the complete opposite of that kind of encounter, because you can't see her at all until you're right on top of her.
Classic. How can you? Oh, maybe that. Oh no, it does work. Sorry, it's just.
There's a little vignette, but that's just can't move him. You can't move that guy. Only you can.
So it doesn't do what it used to. The occlusion thing. It used to, like, you know, like if I was here, it would literally cut them in half. This is going to be a fun thing. I don't know what the answer is. It definitely feels like, and I don't know how to make this work, but, you know, again, it's one of those gut feelings that if you, like, partially reveal them, or it's far away, or some combination, they should be more of a silhouette. Again, I may have to consult the Bible, Mark of the Ninja, and remember what they do. I think they do some stuff with that, but it's been a while since I've looked. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I'll have to check. And we brought this up before, like, I mean, you know, I jokingly refer to it as the Bible. We like a lot of the stuff they've done, but certainly some of the stuff we don't feel is appropriate, or
we're not killing dudes at a rate of knots. We're not giving you that option. So there's a lot of things they do we can't.
Yes. Yeah. But also, like, I'm just saying, you know, if they've done this a certain way, we might not actually like it, or they might not have done it, but
they don't really have story NPCs, do they, really?
No, not that you can interact with. But that's a good point. Yeah, we'll have to have a think about that.
Because she's fine in terms of the encounter space. I mean, the encounter space is quite nice.
I mean, actually, sorry, before I forget, this will kind of work, right? Because let's say she has a similar thing. Maybe she's not whistling or singing, but she's just, you know, there's some nice noise that's emanating, and you're like, oh, that sounds interesting. I want to go and do that. And when you get here, you'll see that it's NPC, and they'll do something cool for you. So when you've got that one up there with Ghoul, like, you'll be like, oh, it's another NPC, someone cool to talk to, but I can't quite reach them. I want to get there. So that could work.
Crackling fire, I guess.
Yeah.
Is a good thing that we can start telegraphing from down where you can't see her. But even then, it's a bit. I don't like how you get here at all. That's my problem.
We can change it.
Is that this is fine? This is fine. This is fine. Keep going. Now it's the bad touch. Yeah, I just don't like this little room and pop up there. It feels like it was done for the convenience of airlocking, and it's still a little bit too close to that guard. So, maybe we move
can
her a
play
bit
with it.
closer. Yeah, I don't know what the correct answer is, but maybe I do. Maybe if we make you do column jumps again and we put her at the top of that, maybe that's the right thing.
Yeah, we
But it's
can
gonna
figure something out.
Yeah, it's going to take. Anyway, she's fine for now. They should work again. Actually, you should be able to.
Oh yeah, sorry. Of course, I was in the package and it doesn't.
Go and press buttons on her and see if she'll speak to you.
It's me. Oh, there I am. Where am I?
You're already in the right place. It's okay.
Oh wow, look at that. Not in the right place, but talk. Oh wow, animation. That sounded sarcastic, but it was genuine. I haven't seen the animation for so long.
Yeah. Those wheels are back on.
Yeah, that's cool. Nice. And I can't help myself. Yeah. It works. Cool. No, that's nice. Yeah, no, so I think you're right. I think I've just seen the time. I do need to cut it slightly shorter today. But yeah, well, I think this is the thing. I don't really know exactly why it happened, but I'm kind of glad it did. Like, naturally, for our user research thing, it ends in the room with this guard. And this guard actually isn't super important. But all I mean is, like, it's been laser focused up until basically the end of this column. And then it's been a bit like, when then some stuff happens. Which is fine. You know, these things happen. So I think we can definitely revisit this. And another theme that's been developing with the game, which is good, is that now we actually have this occlusion system and we have a few other related systems. Revealing things actually has an impact now, so we can consider that, because obviously the way, as we said, the way she's revealed is like meh, like you jump and there she is. You know, we can do so much more now, and we know that it has a good impact, even though, you know, it didn't work 100% because we've still got some things to work through. You know, this waterfall and stuff, that being gradually revealed and this being revealed is nice. So we can think about that for next time. And all of this can be revisited finally. Okay, but yes, I think I am going to have to cut it slightly shorter today, but we got some good stuff. So yeah, that's it. That's it for the year. We return next year.
Suppose the only thing to talk about for next year is the focus changes, at least for the first build, because what we're going to be looking at for our next packaged object is less user testing and more ensuring that the first quest loop and the initial game loop to first unlock and first real quest work. So a lot more substantial and fun stuff. And that's full pipeline. That's full games design, audio pipeline. Everything should be being finessed and accessible. So it should be a pretty exciting month and a half. Yeah.
But for now, I'm going to not do any work for a while, and it's going to be great. So thank you very much for joining us, guys. I think we're good. See you next year. Bye.
Bye.